Have you ever listened to a symphony? Dozens of different instruments, strings, woodwinds, brass, each with its own part to play. Alone, they are just notes. But together, under the guidance of a conductor, they create something beautiful, seamless, and alive. That is the perfect metaphor for your metabolic health. Metabolic health isn't just about weight or a single number on a lab report. It is the symphony happening within you, right now. It's the dynamic, elegant process by which your body converts the food you eat into the energy that powers every single thing you do. From the effort of a morning run to the quiet miracle of a thought forming in your mind, think of your metabolism as your body's master conductor. Its job is to manage an incredibly complex orchestra: your hormones, your enzymes, your liver, your muscles, your fat cells. When metabolic health is optimal, this symphony is harmonious. Energy flows smoothly to where it's needed. You feel vibrant, clear-headed, and sustainably energized. Your mood is stable, your sleep is restorative, and your body feels like a resilient, capable home. But when the music falls out of tune, everything is affected. We feel it not as a dramatic crash, but as a slow, quiet fading of the music. The fatigue that coffee can't fix. The brain fog that feels like a soft static. The stubborn weight that won't shift, no matter what. These aren't just isolated annoyances. They are whispers from a system struggling to find its rhythm. In this series, we'll listen to those whispers. We'll understand the brilliant biology behind them, and most importantly, we'll learn how to help your inner conductor find its baton again and guide your personal symphony back to harmony. Let's take a moment to consider what we mean by metabolism. It's a word we use often, but what does it truly encompass? Your metabolism is the sum of all the chemical reactions in your body that sustain life. These reactions are constantly happening, even when you're at rest. They break down the nutrients from your food to build and repair tissues, convert calories into energy, and eliminate waste. It's a 24/7 operation that never pauses. And just like a symphony, it requires balance and timing. The hormones in your body are the musicians, each with their own cue to play. Insulin, cortisol, adrenaline, thyroid hormones, and many others must come in at the right time and at the right volume. When they do, you experience a state of balance, or homeostasis. Your body is in flow. But our modern world often throws off this balance. We are surrounded by highly processed foods that are designed to be overconsumed. We are more sedentary than ever, and our stress levels are through the roof. These factors can disrupt the delicate balance of our metabolic symphony, leading to a cascade of effects that impact our health in profound ways. So, how do we know if our metabolism is functioning optimally? There are key markers that doctors look at, often called the 5 markers of metabolic health. They include your blood sugar levels, your waist circumference, your blood pressure, your triglyceride levels, and your HDL cholesterol. When these are all in the healthy range, your risk for chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke is significantly lower. But beyond the numbers, it's about how you feel. Do you have steady energy throughout the day? Do you wake up feeling refreshed? Do you recover well from exercise? These are the subjective measures of a healthy metabolism. In the next section, we'll dive into one of the most important players in this symphony, insulin, and how it acts as the master key to your cells. So, who is the principal player in this metabolic orchestra? The one hormone that acts as the master conductor's baton? That is insulin. Imagine, after a meal, your bloodstream is like a river suddenly enriched with precious cargo, glucose or sugar from your food. This glucose is pure energy, but it can't just float aimlessly. It needs to be delivered to your brain for focus, to your muscles for movement, to your liver for storage, like saving money for a rainy day. Enter insulin. Secreted by your pancreas, insulin is the master key. It flows into that river, travels to the cells of your body, and gently knocks on their doors. When it connects with a receptor, the lock, it signals the cell to open up and welcome the glucose inside. It's a beautiful, precise dance. Energy is delivered, your blood sugar levels normalize, and the cell is nourished and ready to do its job. This isn't just a mechanical process. It's the foundation of how you feel in the hours after a meal. When this dance is graceful, you feel satiated, energized, and steady. You've effectively spent your energy currency where it was needed. But what happens when the cells start to stop listening to the knock? When the key begins to turn, but the lock is sticky, and the door only opens a crack. This is the pivotal moment where metabolic harmony begins to falter. This is the threshold of insulin resistance. Let's look at the process in a bit more detail. When you eat, especially carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose. This glucose enters your bloodstream, and your pancreas senses the rise in blood sugar. Beta cells in the pancreas then release insulin. The insulin travels through your blood and binds to insulin receptors on the surface of your cells. This binding triggers a cascade of events inside the cell that allows glucose transporters to come to the cell surface and usher the glucose inside. In muscles, glucose is used for immediate energy or stored as glycogen for later use. In the liver, glucose is also stored as glycogen, and when glycogen stores are full, the liver converts excess glucose into fat. In fat cells, glucose can be converted into fat for long-term storage. This system works flawlessly when we are active and eating whole, unprocessed foods. However, when we are sedentary and consume large amounts of refined carbohydrates and sugars, we repeatedly spike our blood sugar. This forces the pancreas to release large amounts of insulin. Over time, the cells become desensitized to insulin. They require more and more insulin to get the same effect, to open the door for glucose. This is the beginning of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that can take years to develop. And during this time, you may not have any obvious symptoms, but inside, the symphony is getting louder and more chaotic. The pancreas is working overtime, pumping out more insulin to overcome the resistance. This leads to consistently high levels of insulin in the blood, a condition known as hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia itself can cause problems. It can promote inflammation, increase blood pressure, and disrupt other hormones. It also makes it very easy to store fat and very hard to burn it. This is why people with insulin resistance often struggle with weight gain, especially around the abdomen. In the next section, we'll explore the consequences of insulin resistance and how it affects every system in your body. This is the core of our modern metabolic dilemma: insulin resistance. It's not that your body stops making insulin. Often it's making more than ever. The problem is that your cells have become resistant to its call. That lock is gummed up. The key doesn't work like it used to. Why does this happen? Think of it like constantly shouting in a room. If you always speak in a loud voice, eventually, people stop hearing your whispers. When we consistently eat more energy, particularly from highly processed sugars and starches, than our bodies immediately need, our pancreas has to shout louder and louder, releasing more insulin to force the glucose into resistant cells. The body is brilliant and will always prioritize dealing with high blood sugar, which is immediately toxic. So, The pancreas keeps shouting, but the cells, overwhelmed, become even more resistant. It's a vicious cycle. The immediate consequence? That glucose can't get into the muscles or liver efficiently, so it gets rerouted. Where? Into your fat cells, particularly around the abdomen, which are often the last to become resistant. The body, in a state of panic, stores the excess energy as fat. And meanwhile, even with all this sugar in the blood, your muscles and brain are starving for energy inside the cell. This is why you can feel exhausted and hungry while having an abundance of energy in your bloodstream. It's a profound metabolic disconnect. This resistance is the silent, smoldering fire beneath so many of our modern health struggles. Let's break down the factors that contribute to insulin resistance. First, diet. A diet high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars causes rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance. Second, physical inactivity. Exercise makes your muscles more sensitive to insulin. When you don't move, your muscles become resistant. Third, excess body fat, especially visceral fat, the fat around your organs, releases inflammatory chemicals that interfere with insulin signaling. Fourth, chronic stress. Stress hormones like cortisol raise blood sugar and can lead to insulin resistance. Fifth, poor sleep. Lack of sleep disrupts hormones that regulate appetite and blood sugar. It's important to note that insulin resistance is not a life sentence. It is a reversible condition. By addressing the root causes, we can restore insulin sensitivity. This means adopting a diet that minimizes blood sugar spikes, engaging in regular physical activity, managing stress, prioritizing sleep, and maintaining a healthy weight. One of the most powerful ways to improve insulin sensitivity is through movement. When you exercise, your muscles use glucose for energy, which helps to lower blood sugar levels. Moreover, exercise makes your muscle cells more receptive to insulin, so less insulin is needed to do the job. Nutrition also plays a critical role. By choosing foods that are high in fiber, healthy fats and protein, and low in refined carbohydrates, you can prevent the rapid spikes in blood sugar that drive insulin resistance. Think of it as giving your pancreas a break. In the next section, we'll see how insulin resistance doesn't just affect your blood sugar, but has far-reaching effects on your entire body. Insulin resistance is never just a blood sugar problem. It's a system-wide event. Like that single pebble dropped in a pond, the disturbance radiates outward, touching every shore of your health. First, to your energy and brain. When cells are starved of glucose, fatigue and brain fog aren't just inconveniences, they are biological realities. Your cognitive clarity dims. Additionally, insulin resistance in the brain has been linked to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, as the brain's ability to use glucose for energy is impaired. To your heart and blood vessels. Chronically high insulin and blood sugar damage the delicate lining of your arteries, setting the stage for inflammation and high blood pressure. Your blood lipids shift into an unhealthy pattern. High triglycerides, low protective HDL cholesterol. This combination accelerates atherosclerosis, the buildup of plaque in your arteries, increasing your risk of heart attack and stroke. To your hormones. In women, it can drive PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, leading to irregular periods, infertility, and excess hair growth. In men, it can lower testosterone, affecting libido, muscle mass, and mood. It creates a hormonal environment that promotes fat storage and hinders muscle building. To your liver, the overwhelmed liver starts packaging excess sugar into fat, leading to fatty liver disease, now a startlingly common condition. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, can progress to inflammation, cirrhosis, and liver failure. Even to your sleep and mood. The dysregulation can disrupt cortisol and other neurotransmitters, leading to poor sleep, anxiety, and a craving for more sugar, feeding the cycle. Insulin resistance is also associated with an increased risk of depression. This is the critical point to understand. Conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's, sometimes called type 3 diabetes by researchers, are not sudden arrivals. They are the destination of a long road, paved with years of metabolic dysfunction. But, and this is the most important thing we will say, that road is not a one-way street. Let's take a closer look at the connection between insulin resistance and inflammation. Insulin resistance and chronic inflammation are closely intertwined. Excess fat, especially visceral fat, releases pro-inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. These cytokines interfere with insulin signaling, creating a vicious cycle of more inflammation and more insulin resistance. This chronic low-grade inflammation is now recognized as a key driver of many chronic diseases. Furthermore, insulin resistance can affect your kidneys. High blood sugar and high blood pressure from insulin resistance can damage the delicate filtering units in the kidneys, leading to kidney disease over time. It can also affect your nerves, leading to neuropathy, which causes tingling, numbness, and pain, usually in the hands and feet. The good news is that by addressing insulin resistance, you are not just lowering your blood sugar, you are reducing inflammation, protecting your heart, your brain, your liver, and every other organ in your body. In the final section, we'll explore practical, sustainable steps you can take to reverse insulin resistance and restore your metabolic health. So, how do we help the conductor? How do we clean the sticky locks and restore the graceful dance of energy? The beautiful, empowering truth is that your metabolic system is profoundly responsive. It wants to find its rhythm again, and you can guide it there, not with harsh restrictions, but with consistent, loving nudges. First, reimagine your plate. Think of food not as calories, but as information. Every meal is a message you send to your metabolism. Prioritize the foods that send a calming message. Quality proteins, healthy fats, and fibrous vegetables that slow the sugar release into your bloodstream. Minimize the foods that cause the shouting, the processed carbs and sugars. Start by adding before you subtract. Add more vegetables to your meals. Add healthy fats like avocados, nuts, and olive oil. Add lean proteins. These will help you feel full and satisfied, and naturally crowd out the less healthy options. Second, move your body with kindness. You don't need to crush yourself at the gym. The goal is to make your muscles more sensitive to insulin. A brisk walk after a meal. Some strength training to build metabolically active muscle. This is like gently polishing those rusty locks, making them receptive again to the insulin key. Find activities you enjoy so you'll stick with them. Consistency is key. Third, honor your sleep and manage your stress. When you are sleep deprived or chronically stressed, your cortisol rises, which directly tells your liver to release sugar into your blood, kicking off the whole cycle again. Prioritizing sleep and finding moments of calm are not luxuries. They are metabolic therapies. Try to create a bedtime routine, limit screen time before bed, and practice deep breathing or meditation to manage stress. Fourth, consider intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. Giving your body a break from constant eating can help lower insulin levels and improve insulin sensitivity. This doesn't mean starving yourself. It means compressing your eating window. For example, eating all your meals within an 8 to 10 hour window each day. Always consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new eating pattern. Fifth, build a supportive community. Health is not just an individual journey. Surround yourself with people who support your goals. Share meals with loved ones, go for walks with friends, and seek out professionals like nutritionists or health coaches if you need guidance. Remember, this is a journey back to feeling like yourself. It's about listening to those whispers, the energy, the clarity, the stable mood, and recognizing them as the ultimate indicators of your health. It's about becoming the steward of your own inner symphony. Start with one small, loving change. Be patient. Your body has an incredible memory for health. With every nourishing meal, every moment of mindful movement, every good night's rest, you are not just fighting a number. You are rehearsing. You are retuning the instruments. You are handing the baton back to your inner conductor and allowing the beautiful, vibrant, seamless music of your own vitality to play once more. Thank you for joining us on this journey to understand and improve your metabolic health. Here's to your symphony and to a life of vitality and harmony. Please like, share, and subscribe.